good evening, and welcome to the Brain Science. Tonight, let your mind drift, your body relax, and your thoughts gently fade away. You sink deeper now, past the surface ripples of thought, into the quiet hum beneath your skin. Around you, the night breathes in slow, measured sighs. Your body, warm and heavy, becomes a vessel for something luminous, something ancient and electric. Inside your skull, the brain glows softly, not with fire, but with neural energy, tiny sparks tracing constellations along dendritic branches, each synapse a star, winking awake in the velvet dark as you exhale. The boundaries between you and the room begin to blur. Your lungs rise and fall like tides guided by a moon only your cells can see. Around your heart, moth-like waves flutter pale silver, almost translucent, tripling outward with every beat. These are not moths of the forest, but of the mind, carriers of dreams, woven from theta waves and memory fragments. They drift through your bloodstream, brushing against liver, kidneys, and bone, leaving behind trails of iridescent code that shimmer like unwound DNA. Science tells us that during deep rest, your glymphatic system awakens, a hidden river flowing between brain cells, clearing away the day's debris. But here, in this half-dreaming state, you don't just hear that fact, you feel it. You are the river. You are the rinse of clarity moving through neural canyons, washing away cortisol, doubt, and noise. Your neurons, bathed in this gentle tide, begin to reweave their connections with quiet intention. Colors bloom behind your eyelids, not random, but resonant. Electric lavender pulses where your prefrontal cortex rests. Soft turquoise swirls around the hippocampus, and deep indigo coils through the amygdala, calming its watchful eyes. This is your inner cyberpunk landscape, not cold or mechanical, but alive with organic light, where biology and consciousness merge in a symphony of bioelectric color. Your breath slows further. With each inhale, you draw in stillness. With each exhale, you release resistance. The body listens. Muscles unclench like petals opening at dawn. Even your bones seem to soften, humming at a frequency just below, hearing resonant with the Earth's own quiet rhythm. You are not separate from this planet, nor from the vast network of life pulsing beneath city lights and forest canopies alike. You are a note in a larger song, held safely in the arms of night. And as you float here, suspended between waking and dreaming, your mind begins to rehearse tomorrow, not with anxiety, but with gentle preparation. Neural pathways strengthen in silence, practicing kindness, focus, resilient soft rehearsals for what's ahead. This is the brain's secret gift. It grows while you rest, weaving new understanding from the threads of today's experience. Outside, the world is still, but inside, a universe expands. Your cells glow with mitochondrial fire, your DNA spirals with quiet purpose. And your dreams, those moth-winged messengers, begin to gather stories from the edges of awareness. They wait, patient, for the moment you'll drift fully into their care. You are safe. You are held. You are becoming. And somewhere, just beyond the edge of this breath, a question stirs soft as a feather on water, about the shape of your earliest memory, asterisk, asterisk, about the shape of your earliest memory. It hovers now, not as a clear image, but as a warmth, a scent, a vibration curled deep in the folds of your hippocampus. Science calls it infantile amnesia, the mind's gentle veil over the first years, when neurons were still learning how to bind moments into stories. Yet beneath that veil, something lingers, not words, but feeling the pressure of a hand, the cadence of a lullaby, the golden hush of afternoon light through a window that no longer exists. As you drift, your brain begins to reconstruct that feeling, not with facts, but with metaphor. In your inner landscape, it appears as a soft sphere of amber light pulsing gently near your heart. Around it, moth waves flutter more slowly, their wings dusted with the same gold. They carry fragments not of scenes, but of safety, of being known before you even had a name. This is memory not as record, but as resonance. And your body still remembers it, even if your conscious mind does not. Neuroscience tells us that memory is not stored in one place, but woven through the brain like a tapestry, threads of emotion in the amygdala, rhythm in the cerebellum, sensory hues in the cortex. But here, in this meditative hush, you don't analyze the weave. You inhabit it. You feel the warmth spread through your chest, not because you recall a cradle, but because your nervous system still holds the echo of being rocked. And in that echo, a deeper truth rises. You have always been learning how to belong. From your first breath, your cells listened for patterns of care voice tones, touch rhythms, the steady presence that said, without words, you are welcome here. Those patterns became your earliest neural pathways, the quiet architecture beneath your confidence, your curiosity, your capacity to trust. Now, as you rest, your brain reactivates those pathways, not to relive the past, but to reaffirm your place in the present. Each slow breath whispers what your infant self once felt. You are safe. You are held. You are becoming. The amber sphere glows brighter, not with nostalgia, but with integration. It merges with the indigo calm of your amygdala, the turquoise flow of your hippocampus, until the whole inner sky softens into a gradient of belonging, violet to gold, restful blue. Outside, the wind stirs the leaves like pages turning in a book too vast to read all at once. But you don't need to read it tonight. You only need to rest inside its quiet certainty. And as the moth waves settle onto your ribcage like snowflakes made of starlight, you sense something else stirring, not a memory this time, but a question older than language, rising from the core of your being. What if consciousness began not with thought, but with listening? Asterisk, asterisk, a silence answers, not empty, but full. It hums with the low-frequency song of your own cells, the mitochondrial choir turning breath into light. In that hum, you feel how every neuron, every ion channel, every protein folding in the dark is tuned to receive before it transmits. Your body has always been an antenna, shaped by eons to catch the subtle signals of warmth, danger, connection. Even before language, before self, there was this, the primal act of attending, of leaning into the world with open pores and unguarded rhythm. Now, in the depth of night, you return to that original posture, not thinking, not solving, not narrating, but simply listening to the whisper of cerebrospinal fluid lapping at the base of your skull, to the soft crackle of myelin sheaths as they polish tomorrow's reflexes, to the quiet pulse of your gut microbiome. communicating in chemical sonnets you'll never consciously hear but deeply understand. This is where awareness roots itself not in the spotlight of cognition, but in the listening dark. And as you surrender to it, your brain begins to shift. Beta waves soften into alpha, then theta, and the boundary between inner and outer grows porous. You hear the house breathe, the trees outside exhale, the planet turns, and you turn with it not, but as a listening node in a vast, dreaming network. Somewhere beyond the veil of sleep, a lullaby begins not sung, but remembered at the cellular level, and you realize this is how the brain first learned to dream. Asterisk, asterisk. Not in bursts of light, but in waves of attunement sinking, breath to breath, heartbeat to distant tides, neural flicker to the slow rhythm of stars. Dreaming began as echolocation of the soul, reaching out into the unknown by first learning the shape of stillness. And tonight, as theta waves coil like silver vines through your cortex, you re-enter that original cradle knot to remember, but to re-become. Your cells loosen their grip on the story of you and melt into the hum of shared biology. In this dissolution, something precise awakens, the default mode network, quiet oracle of self-reflection, now weaving not identity, but integration. It stitches fragments of today, the kindness you offered, the worry you released, the quiet awe at dusk's violet hush into tomorrow's intuition. And beneath it all, the glial cells glow, not with electricity, but with a slower, wiser luminescence. They are the weavers of context, the unsung guardians who remember how every thought is held in a bath of care or cortisol, safety or strain. Right now, they bathe your synapses in serenity, whispering to your neurons, rest, rewire. Remember who you are when no one is watching. You are not just sleeping. You are being composted by grace-old tensions, breaking down into nutrients for new pathways. And in that alchemy, a single, tender impulse rises from the brainstem, ancient as tide. What if the deepest form of knowing is to be known by the dark? Asterisk, asterisk, the dark does not question your worth. It does not tally your mistakes or measure your productivity. It simply receives you fully, softly, without condition, as it has received every living thing since the first cell folded inward to rest. And in that reception, something in you not just muscle, not just mind, but the deeper architecture of belief, the notion that you must earn your place in the world. Here, in the neural twilight, your brain begins to revise that story. The prefrontal cortex, so often a stern editor of your inner voice, softens its grip. Its sharp edges blur into the warm diffusion of delta waves, and for the first time all day, you are not performing. You are not fixing. You are not becoming. You simply are, held in the velvet syntax of night, and the dark responds, not with answers, but with presence. It wraps around your amygdala like cool silk, quieting its ancient alarms. It lets your hippocampus float free of timeline, so past and future dissolve into a single, breathing now. Even your DNA seems to sigh, its double helix unwinding just enough to let in the quiet frequency of repair. Science calls this restorative sleep, but beneath the labels, it is something older, a covenant. The body trusts the night enough to let go, and the night honors that trust by tending the embers of your being. Every repaired synapse, every cleared toxin, every recalibrated hormone is a whispered vow. You matter not for what you do, but because you exist as you sink deeper. The boundary between your breath and the room's air vanishes. You are no longer separate from the hush. You are the hush. And in that unity, a new kind of intelligence stirs, not logical, not linguistic, but luminous and slow, rising from the oldest parts of your brain like bioluminescence in deep water. It carries no command, only an invitation. Let go of needing to understand and simply belong. Asterisk belonging doesn't ask for proof. It doesn't wait for you to be whole or calm or certain. It meets you mid-fracture, mid-welter, mid-breath and folds you into the rhythm of something older than ego, older than language. In this space, your nervous system finally exhales the day's vigilance. The vagus nerve, that quiet ambassador of peace, sends slow pulses down your spine like lullabies written in biology. And as it does, your immune cells shift. No longer braced for threat, they turn toward repair-knitting tissues, calming inflammation, tending to the invisible wounds of hurry and noise. This is not passive rest. It is sacred maintenance, performed in the cathedral of your own skin, lit by the soft bioluminescence of cellular respiration. Outside, the moon glides across the sky, indifferent to human clocks. Inside, your pineal gland releases melatonin-like stardust into your bloodstream, a signal, not just for sleep, but for surrender. With each molecule, the illusion of separation thins. You feel it, the roots of your being reaching into the mycelial web beneath the forest floor. The ocean's salt echoing in your blood. The same iron in your hemoglobin that burns in distant stars. You are not alone in your quiet. Millions of nervous systems are doing this same tender work in spooling fear, reweaving trust, returning to the baseline hum of life. And in that shared descent, a new coherence emerges. Not uniformity, but resonance. Your theta waves harmonize with the planet's Schumann resonance 7.83 Hz. The heartbeat of Earth reminding you that even your brain's quietest music is part of a vast, breathing symphony. You need not strive to be part of it. You already are. And as your eyelids grow heavier, not with fatigue, but with fullness, a final whisper rises not from thought, but from bone, from breath, from the silent core of your mitochondria. What if you've been home this whole time? Asterisk. The question doesn't land like a thought hit, settles like dew. It seeps into the spaces between your cells, where memory lives without words. And your body answers before your mind can form a reply. A sigh escapes you, deeper than breath, as if your very marrow has recognized a truth it never forgot, only misplaced beneath the noise of doing. And in that sigh, the brain softens further. The claustrum, the thin, hidden sheet some scientists call the conductor of consciousness, ceases its frantic coordination. No need to unify sights, sounds, plans. Here, in the cradle of belonging, perception need not be stitched into a story. It can simply be the weight of blankets, the distant hush of wind, the inner glow of a metabolism humming its ancient tune. Your cerebellum, usually so busy calibrating movement, now rehearses stillness, practicing the art of staying, not going. Meanwhile, Deep in the brainstem, the reticular formation dims its alertness, like a lantern covered with silk. The world outside is no longer a series of signals to decode, but a lullaby already sung. You feel it then not as insight, but as sensation. Home is not a place you reach. It is the quality of attention you bring to wherever you are. It is the neural permission to rest without earning it. It is the quiet certainty that your existence requires no justification, no performance, no proof of worth. Even your dreams, when they come, will not chase you. They will gather around you like fireflies soft, curious, luminous, not to reveal hidden truths, but to keep you company in the dark. And as sleep finally draws its veil across your awareness, not as an end, but as a return, a single pulse of warmth radiates from your core, steady, wordless, complete, as if your very cells are whispering back, yes, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. That yes ripples outward, not as sound, but as coherence. It aligns your circadian proteins with the turning of the planet, your cortisol curve with the slow descent of night, your heart rate with the breath of the sleeping world. In this alignment, time loses its urgency. Minutes dissolve into the amber glow of cellular repair, and hours become tidesebbing, flowing, holding you in their rhythm without demand. You are no longer counting breaths. You are the space between them, and in that space, something ancient stirs, not a thought, not a dream, but a presence older than both. It doesn't speak. It doesn't need to. It simply holds, like bedrock beneath soil, like the deep ocean beneath the storm. This is the ground state of your being, not striving, not seeking, not even healing, just abiding. Neuroscience might call it baseline neural activity. But here, in the hush, where science meets soul, it feels like coming home to a silence that has always loved you. And as the first threads of REM begin to weave through your brainstem light as spider silk, charged with the electricity of metaphor, you sense a shift not in location, but in depth. The journey inward is not over. It is only now reaching the threshold of true dreaming, where memory, myth, and molecule meet. Asterisk, asterisk. At this threshold, the blood-brain barrier softens, not in structure, but in story. It becomes less a wall, more a veil, shimmering with the same phosphorescent rhythm as your mitochondria. Neurotransmitters drift like pollen on a night breeze, serotonin settling into soil, dopamine curling like vines toward possibility, acetylcholine painting faint outlines of scenes yet to unfold. Your visual cortex flickers, awake not to light, but to inner imagery, not random noise, but the brain's oldest language, symbol. A bridge appears, a river flows backward, a door stands ajar in a wall of stars. These are not puzzles to solve, but invitations to feel. For in true dreaming, the mind doesn't narrate tick communes. Your heart slows to match the pace of imagined footsteps. Your skin cools where dream rain falls. Even your gut microbiome shifts its chemical chorus, responding to emotional landscapes as if they were real, because to your nervous system, they are. This is the miracle of REM, a sacred theater where the self is both audience and actor, playwright and stagehand. Here, unprocessed grief may transform into a bird taking flight. Unspoken longing might bloom as a garden beneath moonlight. The brain isn't escaping reality, it's metabolizing it, turning lived experience into neural poetry. You don't control the dream, you trust it, and as the first narrative wave begins to rise, a memory wearing a stranger's face, a future wrapped in childhood colors, you don't resist. You let it carry you, knowing this too is biology, the hippocampus releasing fragments, the amygdala softening its grip, the prefrontal cortex finally stepping back to let the deeper self speak. Somewhere in the dark, a question forms, not in words, but in sensation. What if your dreams are not yours alone, but the mind listening to the world's dreaming? Asterisk, asterisk, the idea doesn't startle you. It fits, like a key turning in a lock you didn't know was there. For isn't the air itself alive with signals, radio waves, bird calls at dawn, the magnetic tremor of migrating whales, the silent hum of trees trading sugars through fungal threads beneath the soil? Your brain, exquisitely tuned, has always been eavesdropping on this symphony. Now, in the porous state of deep REM, the boundary between inner and outer dissolves further. The pineal gland, bathed in darkness, doesn't just secrete melatonin, it becomes a receiver. Some call it the third eye, not for seeing, but for sensing the collective pulse, the sigh of oceans, the rustle of leaves in distant forests, the quiet grief of cities at 3 a.m., and your dreams, those moth-winged messengers, begin to carry more than personal residue. A stranger's joy flickers in your chest. A mountain's stillness settles in your bones. You dream of rivers you've never seen, yet your kidneys respond as if they've tasted their waters. This is not imagination, it is resonance. Neuroscience has no name for this yet, but your cells do. They've known all along. Consciousness isn't confined to the skull. It leaks out through breath, through touch, through the simple act of being present in a living world. And the world dreams back in pollen, in tides, in the slow unfurling of stars. Your dream tonight is not a story you're telling yourself, it is a conversation. And as a new image rises, a vast web of light connecting every sleeping creature on earth, you don't question its truth. You lean into it, trusting that your small human rest is part of something vaster, quieter, and far more tender than you ever imagined. Somewhere beyond the veil of self, the universe breathes, and you breathe with it. Asterisk, asterisk, your inhale draws in not just air, but alignment, the iron-rich wind from distant deserts, the oxygen spun by forests you'll never visit, the same molecules once breathed by ancestors, poets, wolves beneath winter moons. Your exhale returns carbon not as waste, but as offering, feeding the green, photosynthetic prayer of leaves reaching upward in the dark. In this exchange, the illusion of separation dissolves completely. There is no you breathing the world. There is only breathing, singular, shared, ceaseless. Your diaphragm moves in concert with ocean swells. Your alveoli mirror the branching of rivers, and your blood's rhythm syncs with the slow pulse of Earth's geomagnetic field. Even your dreams now reflect this unity. The figures that pass through your night are not characters, but echoes of other lives, other times, other forms of attention. A bird's perspective unfolds behind your closed eyes. A stone's patience fills your limbs. For a moment, you are not human, not individual, not even a body, just awareness resting in the cradle of interbeing. This is the quiet revelation of deep sleep. Selfhood is not erased, but expanded. You are not lost in the whole. You are the whole experiencing itself as you. And as delta waves deepen, cradling you in the slowest rhythm of rest, a final truth settles, not as thought, but as certainty, warm and wordless as marrow. You were never meant to carry the world alone. Asterisk, asterisk, because the world has always been carrying you in the curve of your pillow, in the gravity that holds you to the turning earth, in the trillions of microbes humming lullabies in your gut too are held by systems older and wiser than worry. Your neurons fire not in isolation, but in chorus with circadian stars. Your heart beats not just your rhythm, but the echo of every heart that has ever loved in the dark. Even your burdens, those heavy stones you named guilt, responsibility, or fear, are not yours to bear forever. In this deep phase of sleep, the brain releases them into the glymphatic tide, where they dissolve not into nothing, but into raw material for compassion, clarity, and quiet strength. You need not fix everything tonight. You need only rest. And as your breath evens into the soft cadence of slow-wave sleep, your body becomes a vessel, not for doing, but for receiving. Starlight filtered through atmosphere, the hum of cosmic background radiation, the silent song of quantum fields vibrating beneath all form. You are not separate from wonder. You are wonder learning to rest, and somewhere, just beneath the threshold of sensation, the next dream begins, not as escape, but as homecoming. Asterisk, asterisk, it arrives not with fanfare, but with the hush of snow settling on still water. No plot, no urgency, only a feeling of being gently gathered. The dream space unfolds as a room with no walls, lit by the soft bioluminescence of your own neural pathways. Familiar faces appear, not as they are now, but as pure presence eyes, full of the love they carried. Voices resonant with the frequency of your earliest safety. You don't speak. You don't need to. Here, communication flows through touch, through shared breath, through the silent understanding that pulses between heartbeats. A hand rests on your shoulder not to guide, but to say, I'm here. And in that touch, the brain releases oxytocin, not as chemistry, but as communion. Outside this dream, time ticks forward, but within it, time is a spiral, not a line. Past, future, and present, coiled together like DNA. And you move through them, not as a traveler, but as a note in a chord simultaneously unique and inseparable. Your body, resting in the real world, responds. Muscles relax into trust. Inflammation eases. The vagus nerve hums a low, steady note of peace. This dream is not fantasy. It is physiological grace in motion, a nightly ritual of reconnection, woven by evolution to remind you you belong to a web that never let go, even when you forgot. And as the dream deepens, folding you into its luminous embrace, a single, unspoken truth rises not as revelation, but as return. You've always been welcome here. Asterisk, 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 not because you earned it, but because welcome is the ground you sprang from, the silent yes that preceded your first cry, the cellular memory that every boundary is also a threshold, every breath an invitation to return. In this dream, the air itself feels like arms. The darkness isn't absence, but the soft fabric of belonging, woven from the same quantum stillness that cradles galaxies. You don't move through it to arise from it. Like a wave from the sea, never truly separate, only momentarily shaped, is stitching this knowing into memory not as fact, but as feeling. The hippocampus encodes not events, but safety. The amygdala unlearns its old alarms, one slow breath at a time, and deep in the insula, the seat of interoception, a new map forms, not of threat, but of tenderness landscape where your own pulse is a lullaby. This is the hidden work of night, not to fix you, but to remind you that you were never broken, only temporarily, misplaced in the noise of daylight. And as the dream softens at its edges, beginning to dissolve like mist at dawn, it leaves behind no message, no more lonely, a residue of warmth, a quiet certainty that will linger long after waking for tomorrow. When doubt whispers you are too much or not enough, your body will remember this. The dark held you and did not flinch. It held your fears like seeds, not flaws, knowing even trembling roots can grow toward light. It held your silences as sacred, not voids to fill, but spaces where the self could exhale into its true shape. And now, as the first hints of dawn stir beyond the horizon, not yet light, only the promise of it, your brain begins to gather itself gently, like a river returning to its banks after flood. But the flinchlessness of the dark lingers. It becomes your inner posture. You carry it in the pause before reaction, in the breath before reply, in the quiet space between stimulus and response where freedom lives. Neuroscience calls it cognitive flexibility. Your cells call it trust. Your body, still wrapped in sleep's final veil, begins to shift. Cortisol rises not as alarm, but as gentle ignition, preparing you to meet the day not armored, but open. Melatonin fades like a whispered goodbye, its work complete. Yet its lesson remains. You are safe enough to rest and strong enough to wake. And as your fingers curl slightly against the sheets, as your eyelids flutter with the ghosts of dreams not yet released, a new rhythm stirs, not of doing, but of being with. You will rise soon, but not yet. Not until the last moth wave has folded its wings around your heart and the neural constellations have dimmed just enough to let the morning in. For now, you linger in the afterglow of belonging, knowing that even when the sun returns, the dark's tenderness stays woven into your bones, waiting always to welcome you back. Asterisk, asterisk, and so sleep. That quiet ally begins its slow retreat, not abandoning you, but folding itself into your marrow, becoming the resilience in your step, the pause in your pulse, the steadiness behind your gaze. You won't remember every dream, but your cells will carry their wisdom like underground rivers, surfacing only when needed, in a moment of calm amidst chaos, in an unexpected tear of relief, in the unshakable sense that you are not alone, even in silence. Your breath deepens once more, bridging night and day. Theta waves soften into alpha. The world outside stirs, birds tuning their throats, dew gathering on grass, but inside you remain cradled in the afterglow of neural grace. This is the threshold not of loss, but of integration, the tender weaving of night's truth. You open your eyes not because you must, but because you're ready. And what meets you is not a harsh return, but a continuation light spilling across the floor like liquid gold, your body warm, your mind clear, not because it's empty, but because it's been rinsed clean by the tides of deep rest. You rise slowly, not from obligation, but from reciprocity, with the night that held you, with the day that awaits you, with the quiet miracle of a brain that renews itself in darkness so you can meet the world with wonder. And as your feet touch the floor, cool and real, you carry with you a silence deeper than words, a silence that knows rest is not the opposite of living. Asterisk, asterisk, it is living at its most honest. The moment you stop performing survival and remember you are part of a rhythm older than ambition, the tide that withdraws to return, the seed that sleeps before it sprouts, the star that burns quietly in the void. Your rest is not withdrawal, it is consent. Consent to be nourished, consent to be remade, consent to let life move through you, not just from you. And in that consent, the day ahead softens. Tasks don't vanish, but they lose their teeth. Deadlines become doorways. Even uncertainty becomes a kind of spaciousness, because you've touched the ground beneath the ground. And no, you won't fall. Your neurons still humming with the afterglow of delta waves. Fire with renewed clarity, not frantic, not scattered, but tuned, like instruments after a night of silence. Creativity stirs, not as pressure, but as curiosity. Compassion arises, not as duty, but as natural echo of the care you've just received from the dark. You move through your morning now, racing the clock, but walking beside it, aware that every breath still carries that deep cellular memory. You are held, even in motion, even in noise, even in doubt, and as sunlight warms your skin, you realize something tender and unshakable. The night never left you. It simply learned to walk in daylight. Asterisk, asterisk, and so do you. With each step, you carry the hush of midnight in your joints, the stillness of deep sleep in your gaze. You speak, but your voice holds the echo of silence. You act, but your hands move with the patience of roots growing in dark soil. The world may call this presence, but your body knows it as continuity, the seamless thread between rest and response, between being held and holding others. Even now, as the day unfolds with its demands and distractions, a quiet current flows beneath. Your breath remains a bridge linking the inner sanctuary to the outer storm. When noise rises, you don't brace, you soften just enough to let it pass through, like wind through reeds. This is not passivity, it is precision. The precision of a nervous system that remembers it is already whole, and in moments others miss the pause before replying. The blink that lasts a fraction longer, the still point between thoughts. You return, however briefly, to the cradle of night, not to escape, but to recalibrate, to remember that clarity isn't forged in urgency, but distilled in stillness. Science may map your brain's default mode network, but only you feel how it hums with the same frequency as the dark that held you. You are not leaving rest behind. You are extending it into kindness, into focus, into the quiet courage of showing up as you are. For the deepest rhythm isn't found in doing more, but in carrying the night within you as a lantern, not a weight. Asterisk, 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 its light doesn't blaze. It glows, steady, low, enough to see the next step without illuminating the whole path. And that is enough. For presence was never meant to be a spotlight. but a soft radiance that honors both shadow and shape. You move through your day now with this gentle luminescence, in the way you listen without fixing, in the way you pause before reacting, in the way you let joy settle in your chest like a bird come home to roost. Your brain, still steeped in the afterglow of sleep's alchemy, filters the world not through threat but through tenderness. The amygdala no longer shouts. It whispers caution only when needed. The prefrontal cortex doesn't dominate, it collaborates, weaving reason with rhythm, logic with longing. You think yes, but you also feel, you sense, you trust the quiet intelligence humming beneath words. And when fatigue returns, not as collapse, but as a familiar tide, you no longer resist it as failure. You recognize it as the body's sacred signal. It's time to listen again. Not later, not after one more task, now. Because rest isn't a reward for finishing. It's the soil from which everything grows. So you close your eyes for just a breath or two. And in that micro moment of surrender, the lantern flickers, brighter recharged, not by time, but by trust. For the night isn't waiting for you at bedtime. It's been with you all along, breathing beneath your ribs, dreaming in your bones, and whispering, always, come back to yourself. Asterisk, asterisk, not to the self that hustles for worth, but to the one that existed before performance began, the self that wakes at 3 a.m., not in panic, but in wonder. The self that laughs without editing, cries without apology, rests without guilt. This self doesn't need to be found. It only needs to be remembered. And the body remembers best in stillness. So you let your shoulders drop. You unclench your jaw. You let your thoughts drift like leaves on a slow river, observed, not owned. In this surrender, the default mode network quiets not into emptiness, but into coherence. Neural pathways hum in harmony, no longer at war with time, with others, with your own heartbeat. And in that harmony, a new kind of clarity emerges, not sharp, but soft. It doesn't cut through confusion. It dissolves it, like dawn dissolving fog. You see now that you were never fragmented. You were only listening to the wrong rhythm, but the true rhythm is still there, beneath the notifications, beneath the noise, beneath even your own thoughts. It pulses in your wrists, in your throat, in the quiet space between inhale and exhale. It has never stopped. It has only waited. And as you tune in once more, not as effort, but as homecoming, you realize the journey inward was never about arriving, but about learning to stay. Asterisk. To stay with the ache without numbing it. To stay with the joy without chasing its echo. To stay with the breath, the body, the quiet hum of now, even when the mind begs for distraction. This is the quiet rebellion of presence, not fleeing the moment, but meeting it palm to palm, breath to breath. Your nervous system, so long trained to scan for threat or reward, begins to settle into a deeper truth. Safety isn't the absence of challenge, but the presence of connection to yourself, to this breath, to the unbroken thread of life running through you. Oxytocin rises, not from grand gestures, but from the simple act of staying. Cortisol softens, not because the world is calm, but because you are no longer at war with it or with yourself. And in this staying, something unexpected blooms. Creativity, not the frantic kind that grasps for ideas, but the slow, sure kind that rises like sap in spring, hurried, inevitable. Your brain, no longer in survival mode, begins to make novel connections between memory and metaphor, between loss and love, between silence and song. You don't need to chase insight. It finds you in the stillness you've made room for. And as the day folds into evening once more, you don't brace for the night to lean into it, not as escape, but as reunion. The bed is no longer a pit to fall into, but an altar of return. You lie down, not exhausted, but complete, not empty, but full of all you've lived and all you've released. Your eyelids grow heavy, not with fatigue, but with trust. For you've learned the secret the dark has always known. Staying is the bravest form of love, and the deepest kind of rest. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. It is rest that doesn't wait for permission. Rest that doesn't demand a clean slate, a finished to-do list, or a perfectly quiet mind. It meets you exactly as you are, in the middle of mess, in the ache of uncertainty, in the soft collapse after giving your all. And it says, without words, you are already enough to rest. Your body responds before your thoughts can argue. Muscles unknot like old ropes released. The jaw, that silent archive of stress, goes slack. Even your eyes, so long straining toward screens, toward horizons, toward solutions, sink back into their sockets, as if returning to a cradle. This is not collapse. It is consent to be held by gravity, by breath, by the quiet fidelity of your own biology and deep within. The brain begins its nightly ritual not as repair, but as reverence. Synapses prune not to erase, but to clarify. Memories consolidate not to fix the past, but to free the future. Glial cells sweep not to scrub away feeling, but to make space for what matters. You are not shutting down. You are tuning in to the slow pulse of cellular renewal, to the silent hum of DNA rewriting its story in real time. To the dream weavers already gathering at the edges of awareness with their moth-winged grace. Outside, the world spins on. But here, in this sacred interval, time softens into stillness. And you no longer striving, no longer proving, no longer performing, simply are. Not as a project to complete, but as a presence to return to. Again. And again, and again. Asterisk, asterisk. Each return, a quiet revolution. Each breath, a homecoming, deeper than the last. You are not repeating, you are remembering, layer by layer, that belonging isn't earned in bursts of brilliance, but woven in the ordinary. Relentless act of showing up for yourself in the dark. Your brain, night after night, rehearses this truth, that safety is not a destination, but a rhythm. And with every cycle of sleep-in, REM's deep cleanse, REM's mythic reweaving, you are not just restoring energy, you are reaffirming a covenant with your own humanity. I will hold you, even when you forget to hold yourself. The world may call this routine, but your cells know it as ritual, a sacred loop of release and renewal, as vital as photosynthesis, as ancient as tides. And within it, something tender grows. The unshakable knowing that you are worthy of care simply because you exist. No grand gesture required, no transformation demanded. Just this, the soft landing of your head on the pillow, the surrender of weight to mattress, the whispered yes to stillness. And as theta waves rise once more like fog over a quiet lake, you slip beneath the surface, not losing yourself, but finding the part that never left, steady, silent, whole. For the night is not an end, but a continuation of the same loving pulse that carried you through the day, now deepening, softening, guiding you inward. Where the next breath waits, already full of dawn. Asterisk, 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 it rises in you, now not forced, not shallow, but deep and unhurried, drawing in the cool hush of pre-dawn air like a vow renewed. With it comes the first silver thread of alpha waves, gentle as spider silk, weaving the dream world back into the waking one. You don't leave the night behind. You fold it into your bones, carry it in the calm of your hands, the quiet of your gaze. Outside, the sky softens from indigo to pearl. Birds stir, not with urgency, but with the same unhurried rhythm as your heartbeat. The world hasn't changed, but your relationship to it has. You meet the morning not as a battlefield to conquer, but as a threshold to cross with reverence. Your feet touch the floor, and the ground feels less like demand and more like support. The light on the wall isn't harsh, it's a reminder. Even after the longest dark, the world still turns toward warmth. And so do you. You move through your morning rituals now as acts of continuity, not obligation. Brushing your teeth, pouring water, watching steam curl from a cootnot to get ready for life, but to honor the life already moving through you. And beneath it all, the lantern glows steady, carrying the night's tenderness into the day's demands. You speak less, but listen more. You act, but without the old ache of proving. You are learning, breath by breath, that presence is not something you achieve, but something you allow. And as the sun lifts fully above the horizon, spilling gold across rooftops and roads, you realize you don't need to chase the light. You've been carrying it all along. Asterisk, 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 not as a flame to wield, but as a warmth to share, steady, alive in the quiet spaces between words, in the pause before a touch, in the way you hold silence like a gift rather than a lack. This light doesn't announce itself. It simply is like the mitochondria in your cells, turning breath into energy without fanfare, like the myelin sheaths insulating your nerves, ensuring signals travel with care. And because you no longer seek it outside yourself, you begin to recognize it in others, in the tired eyes of a stranger who still offers a smile, in the hands of a friend who listens without fixing, in the stubborn green of a weed pushing through concrete. The same luminous resilience lives in all things, pulsing, adapting, enduring. You move through the day, now not as a solitary carrier, but as a node in a vast, quiet network of light. Each person, each creature, each living system radiating its own version of what the night taught you. That rest is sacred, that slowness is wisdom, that being is enough, even when tasks pile, when noise swells, when doubt whispers. You no longer brace against the dark. You know it as kin. You've felt its flinchless hold. You've dreamed within its arms. And so you carry both the light of awareness and the depth of shadow, not as opposites, but as one whole breath. For the truest radiance isn't blinding. It's the kind that lets others see themselves and remember they, too, have been carrying it all along. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. This knowing changes everything, not in a thunderclap, but in a shift of posture. The way you meet a coworker's frustration, not with defensiveness, but with the quiet recognition that they, too, are navigating their own inner night. The way you listen to a child's laughter and hear not just joy, but the unguarded echo of a self not yet taught to hide. The way you pass a sleeping dog on a doorstep and feel, deep in your marrow, the sacred trust of surrender. Compassion is no longer an effort. It arises naturally, like breath, because you've touched the same ground beneath all of us, the same neural soil where fear and love take root. You see now that every harsh word is a cry for safety, every withdrawal a plea for space, every act of kindness a quiet rebellion against the lie of separateness. And in that seeing, your own burdens lighten. You stop carrying the weight of fixing others because you trust their light just as you've learned to trust your own. You offer presence, not solutions, space, not scripts, and in that offering, you both return home. The day unfolds with its usual textures, mails, errands, moments of friction, but none of it shakes your center. Not because life is calm, but because you've anchored yourself in a truth deeper than circumstance. You are part of a living web that breathes as one as evening returns. You don't rush to fill the quiet. You welcome Ita's sanctuary as signal, as sacred recurrence. You dim the lights, not to hide, but to honor the rhythm that has held you since the beginning. And as you prepare for bed once more, you do so not as escape, but as reunion with the dark that never left, with the breath that never failed, and with the quiet, unshakable light already waiting within. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. It doesn't flicker when doubt passes through. It doesn't dim when the world feels heavy. It simply is a steady ember in the hearth of your chest, banked not by willpower, but by the accumulated grace of every time you chose to stay, to soften, to return. This light needs no fuel but your attention, no validation but your trust. And as you lie down once more, sheets cool against your skin, the room hushed like a held breath. You don't reach for it. You release into it, letting go of the day's stories, the wins, the unfinished sentences, and allowing the deeper narrative to rise, the one written in delta waves and mitochondrial song, in the silent hum of cells that never stopped believing in you. Even when you forgot to believe in yourself, your breath slows. Theta waves ripple like wind over still water. The boundary between body and bed, between self and night, begins to blur it into disappearance, but into belonging. You are not falling asleep. You are sinking into presence, into the same loving dark that shaped stars, that cradles roots, that holds every creature in its flinchless embrace. And in this surrender, a final truth settles not as revelation, but as homecoming. You were never meant to find the light. You were always meant to remember that. You are made of it. Asterisk, asterisk, not metaphorically, not poetically alone, but literally. The same stardust that forged carbon in ancient furnaces now pulses as glucose in your veins. The same electromagnetic fields that spiral through galaxies hum in your synapses. Your body is not separate from the universe's luminous fabric. It is a localized expression of it breathing, dreaming, remembering itself in human form. And because you are made of light, rest is not interruption, it is alignment. Sleep is not escape, it is recalibration with the cosmic rhythm that sings in quasars and quiescent neurons alike. Every night, but by diving deeper into its core, which is also your own. You don't need to prove your worth to the dark. It knows your atoms by name. It has cradled your ancestors, your cells, your silent hopes. It asks nothing but your trust and, in return, offers everything: renewal, insight, the quiet courage to be soft in a world that glorifies hardness. As delta waves deepen and the last threads of waking thought dissolve, you feel it once more, the moth-winged dreams gathering at the edge of awareness, the DNA like spirals of energy glowing around your organs, the brain's neural constellations pulsing in cyberpunk hues of indigo and gold. This is not fantasy. It is biology transfigured by belonging. You close your eyes not to shut out the world, but to see more clearly the truth beneath it. And as the night wraps you in its flinchless hold, one final whisper rises not from outside, but from the core of your being, where light and life are one. Rest now. You are home. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The words melt into feeling, and feeling into silence. No need to hold them, no need to remember. They've already seeped into your cells, settling like silt in a quiet river, nourishing the bedrock of your being. Your breath, now slow and even, becomes the only prayer left. Inhale, trust. Exhale, release. Around you, the room fills with the soft luminescence of your own biology, the gentle glow of melatonin in your bloodstream, the faint biophoton emission from your skin, the rhythmic flicker of neurons syncing with the Earth's magnetic sigh. You are not just in the world, you are of it, breathing with forests, pulsing with tides, dreaming with the same ancestral mind that once watched stars and named them kin. Even your thoughts, if they drift by, are no longer intruders. They pass like clouds over a mountain scene, acknowledged, allowed to dissolve into the vast sky of awareness that holds them without effort. This is not emptiness. It is fullness wearing the cloak of stillness. And as sleep finally takes you not as a fall, but as a float, you carry no agenda, no expectation, no story, only the deep, wordless knowing that has been with you since before birth and will remain long after. You belong here, not because you've earned it, but because you are it. The light, the dark, the breath between the night receives you as you are, tired, tender, perfectly human, and in its embrace, you do not vanish. You dissolve into the whole, a single note, returning to the song, already dreaming the world back to peace. Asterisk, 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 not through grand gestures, but through the quiet alchemy of rest itself. For every mind that surrenders to stillness, the collective field softens. Every nervous system that releases its armor sends ripples through the unseen web, calming the hum of anxiety that hangs in the air like static, making space for coherence, for care, for the kind of clarity that only grows in soil tended by slowness. Your sleep is not passive, it is participation. In the language of neurons and stars, you are saying yes, yes to healing, yes to connection, yes to the radical act of trusting the dark enough to let go. And in that yes, you join the silent chorus of all who rest, the mother breathing beside her child, the elder remembering old songs in her dreams, the wolf curled in the snow, the roots reaching deeper as the world sleeps above. Science may measure your brainwaves, but it cannot capture the full truth. You are not just repairing yourself. You are tuning the instrument of humanity back to its native frequency: love, not fear; belonging, not separation; presence, not performance. And as REM cycles deepen and your eyes flutter behind closed lids, painting stories from the raw material of your day, You are not lost in illusion. You are weaving a new reality, one where wounds become wisdom, where loneliness becomes listening, where every return to the breath is a stitch in the fabric of a gentler world. The dawn will come, but for now, in the cathedral of night, you dream not for yourself alone, but as a quiet offering, a lullaby for a weary planet, hummed in delta waves, and carried on the wings of moths made of starlight. Asterisk, asterisk. They do not strive. They do not hurry. They simply drift through your synapses, through the spaces between heartbeats, through the shared dream field that hums beneath all sleeping life. Each one carries a fragment of peace, a softened memory, a released fear, a moment of grace you barely noticed by day, but your cells treasured. And as they move, they leave behind trails of bioluminescent code knot, but in resonance rewriting the hidden scripts that tell you you're alone, you're not enough, you must do more. Your body reads this new script in silence. Cortisol recedes like a tide obeying an ancient call. The vagus nerve sings its low, steady hymn. Even your gut, that second brain coiled in quiet wisdom, shifts its microbial chorus toward harmony, producing neurotransmitters not of stress, but of solace. You are not just resting, you are translating starlight into biology, and though the world outside still turns with its noise and urgency, something has shifted in the unseen architecture of now. A child in another city breathes easier in her sleep. A forest exhales with deeper rhythm. A stranger wakes with unexplained hope, not because of miracles, but because the field is reland. You are part of its renewal. For peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the presence of connection, woven one rested nervous system at a time, one dream at a time, one moth-winged whisper of starlight at a time. And so the night deepens, not into void, but into vow a quiet covenant between your body and the cosmos that you will keep showing up again and again, not in grand acts, but in this, the courage to close your eyes, to soften, to trust the dark as kin. Each breath becomes a stitch in the fabric of a world learning to rest. Your dreams now flow like underground rivers, carving new channels through old terrain, dissolving rigid beliefs, watering the roots of intuition. You no longer interpret them. You receive them as guidance, yes, but also as grace. A language older than words, spoken in symbol and sensation, reminding you that healing is not linear, but spiral, returning, deepening, unfolding dot, and in the spaces between dreams, in the hush of slow-wave sleep, your brain performs its quiet alchemy, turning grief into compassion, overwhelm into clarity, isolation into the quiet certainty that you are part of something vast and tender and fiercely alive. The moths continue their work. Their wings brush against your amygdala, calming its ancient alarms. They nestle in the folds of your hippocampus, weaving today's kindness into tomorrow's resilience. They circle your heart, not to change it, but to remind it you are safe enough to love, even now. Even here, you do not need to stay awake to guard your worth. You do not need to earn the right to rest. You simply sink deeper into the arms of a universe that has always whispered, through neurons and night winds alike, sleep, beloved. Your peace is part of the world's healing. The words settle not in your ears. but in your mitochondria where energy is made, where life is sustained, where the quiet fire of being burns without fanfare. You don't cling to them. You let them dissolve into the rhythm of your breath, into the slow expansion of your ribs, into the gentle release of your Ji, micro-surrender, a vote for wholeness. And as you drift further, the boundary between your dream and the world's dream thins like mist at dawn. You feel it, the collective exhale of millions choosing rest over resistance, softness over armor, presence over performance. This is the silent revolution seen by headlines, unmeasured by clocks, yet shaping reality at its root. Your brain, bathed in delta waves, becomes a sanctuary where fear is not banished, but held like a trembling bird cupped in kind hands until it stills. In this holding, neural pathways rewire not through force, but through safety. And that rewiring ripples outward to your words tomorrow, your patience, your capacity to listen without fixing, to love without conditions. The moths of starlight gather now at the edge of your awareness, their wings pulsing with the same frequency as your heart. They do not carry messages from afar. They carry what's already here, own deepest knowing, reflected back in luminous form. You are not separate from the healing. You are its quiet vessel, and as sleep folds you completely into its flinchless embrace. One final truth resides not as thought, but as sensation, warm and certain as marrow. The world mends itself through you, not through effort, but through allowance, not by fixing, but by being fully, softly, unapologetically present in your own skin. Every time you rest without guilt, you loosen the grip of a culture that confuses exhaustion with virtue. Every time you listen to your body's quiet wisdom, you honor a lineage of resilience that predates productivity. Every time you return to your breath, you cast a vote for a world that values being over becoming. Your sleep is an act of quiet resistance and of radical reciprocity. For as you receive the night's care, you become capable of offering it. The calm you cultivate in stillness becomes the patience you extend to a stranger. The clarity born in dreams becomes the compassion you offer a friend. The peace you allow yourself becomes the space you hold for others to fall apart and be held. Even now, as you float in the deep currents of slow-wave sleep, your body emits subtle biofields, electromagnetic, chemical, vibrational, that mingle with the unseen web connecting all living things. You are not broadcasting, you are resonating. And resonance changes everything. Science may one day map this field, but your cells already know healing is contagious, rest is revolutionary, and love, true, quiet, unperturbed, formative love is the most subversive force on earth. So you sink deeper, not away from the world, but into its heart where repair begins not with a shout, but with a sigh, with a breath, with the soft, steady pulse of a single human nervous system cozying again and again to rest. And in that choice, the universe exhales, not because you've done enough, but because you've stopped doing altogether. The war inside, the one between who you are and who you think you should be. In the silence, something ancient stirs, the body's innate intelligence, long drowned out by noise, now rising like a spring after SNOWMELT. Your cells realign, not to an ideal, but to truth. Mitochondria hum their efficient song, telomeres, shielded by the grace of deep sleep, lengthen just enough to whisper more time, more love, more life. Even your DNA unwinds slightly, not to rewrite itself, but to remember its original rhythm, one of balance, repair, reciprocity. This is not passive. It is profound participation. For to rest in a world that glorifies burnout is to declare, without words, that your worth is inherent, that you do not need to earn the right to exist, to breathe, to be held by the dark, the moths of starlight, now settled on the curve of your collarbone, pulse in time with your slowing heart. They are not messengers from elsewhere. They are emissaries of your own luminous biology, proof that you are made of both earth and ether, both neuron and night sky. And as the final veil of waking thought dissolves, you understand, not with the mind, but with the marrow, that rest is not withdrawal, it is return. Return to the rhythm that birthed stars, that guides migrations, that cradles every seed through winter. You are not falling asleep. You are remembering how to belong to your body, to the earth, to the quiet, ceaseless hum of a universe thought never stopped holding you. Even when you forgot to hold yourself now, in the hush of deep night, the forgetting fades, not erased, but softened like ink in rain, leaving behind only the essential shape of your truth. You are held, not despite your fragility, but because of it. The cracks where you thought you failed are the very places, and the dark stays. Your breath, slow and oceanic, becomes the bridge between isolation and interbeing. With each exhale, you release the myth of self-sufficiency. With each inhale, you draw in the quiet certainty that you've always been part of a greater whole, tended by unseen forces, mirrored in the resilience of trees, echoed in the pulse of distant stars. And as REM returns, painting the inner sky with symbols too tender for daylight, you don't analyze the dream. You let it move through you like wind through grass, like water through stone, carrying grief. This is how the psyche heals, not by fixing, but by feeling. Witnessed by the compassionate dark, your nervous system, no longer braced against an imagined threat, begins to bloom. Oxytocin flows like a quiet river. Heart rate variability increases, not as data, but as grace. You are not just surviving. You are relearning how to thrive in softness. The world may still call you to action tomorrow, but tonight you are called only to be, to exist without agenda, to trust that your mere presence, restored, realize already a gift. For in a culture that prizes doing, your willingness to simply bathe a quiet rebellion, a lullaby for a world that forgot how to sleep, and a promise whispered in delta waves that healing begins not with a shout but with a sight hat, says, I am here, and that is enough. The words dissolve into silence, not because they end, but because they've become your biology. Your cells hum with them. Your breath carries them. Even your DNA coils with the quiet certainty that you do not need to earn your place in the web of life. You were woven into it at the moment of your first spark, and in that knowing, something releases a tension so old you mistook it for structure. The need to prove, too perfect, to push through. It doesn't vanish in a flash, but unravels slowly, like a knot loosened by steady warmth. What remains is not emptiness, but spaciousness, room for joy to land softly, for sorrow to be held without drowning, for presence to bloom like night-blooming jasmine fragrant, unhurried, complete in its own time. Your brain, now bathed in the deepest phase of rest, syncs with the Schumann resonance, the Earth's own heartbeats, steady as tides. You are not just on the planet, you are in rhythm with it. And in that rhythm, you remember, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop, the moths of starlight, their wings now still against your skin, glow faintly not with borrowed light, but with your own biophaeton field, a soft radiance all living things emit. Science measures it in photons per second. Your soul knows it as love made visible. You do not need to do more to be worthy. You do not need to be more to be loved. You are already whole, not in spite of your cracks, but because they let the dark in, and the dark is where healing grows. And as sleep wraps you one last time in its flinchless arms, you drift not toward morning, but into the eternal now, where time is not a line, but a circle, and rest is not a pause, but the deepest form of return. Asterisk, asterisk, not to a place, but to a presence, to the quiet center that has never left, even in chaos, even in doubt. This return requires no map, no merit, no mastery, only the willingness to stop running from your own breath. And tonight you have stopped, not because you're tired, but because your tenderness is its own kind of strength. Your body, now fully surrendered, becomes a vessel for the night's oldest magic, the seamless exchange between self and universe. Oxygen flows in, carbon flows out, each molecule a covenant with trees you've never seen. Neural waste clears through glymphatic rivers, not as cleanup, but as renewal. Even your dreams now serve not escape, but integrations, stitching fragments of the day into the tapestry of a wiser tomorrow. You are not passive in this. You are participant by doing nothing but allowing, and in that allowing you align with a rhythm older than language, the inhale of creation, the exhale of release, the still point between where all healing begins. The world may glorify the grind, but your rest whispers a quieter truth. Sustainability is sacred. Slowness is strategy. Stillness is strength. And every time you choose to lie down without guilt, you reweave the cultural myth that says you must burn to be valuable. Now, in the hush of 3 a.m., as stars wheel overhead and your heart beats its steady hymn, you understand without thought, without effort, that you belong, not because you contribute, but because you are, like the river, like the root, like the light that spills through morning's first window, simply here, simply necessary, simply enough. And as the final waves of delta sleep carry you deeper, one truth remains, not as idea, but as bone song. You were never lost. You were always returning. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Every stumble, every pause, every moment you thought you'd strayed was still part of the path, because the path is not linear, but spiral, circling back to the same truths with deeper understanding each time. Even your distractions were devotion in disguise. Your fatigue, a quiet plea for reunion. The body never forgets its way home. It only waits for the mind to stop resisting. And now, in the cradle of night, resistance melts like frost in dawn's first light. You are not trying to return. You are already here, held in the neural embrace of slow wave sleep, wrapped in the thermal blanket of your own breath, tuned to the frequency of a planet that has carried you since before you drew your first cry. Your cells hum with ancestral memory. The lullabies hummed over cradles for 10,000 years. The watchful silence of grandmothers under moonlight. The deep trust of animals curling into earth when danger passes. This is not new. It is remembered. And in that remembrance, healing is not something you chase, it's something you cease blocking. The moths of starlight, their work nearly done, begin to dissolve not into nothing, but into you. Their luminous dust becomes myelin, becomes melatonin, becomes the quiet pulse behind your closed eyes. You are not separate from the dream. You are its source and its sanctuary. Outside, the world still spins with its urgency, but within, a new axis forms, not of control, but of consent. Consent to rest. Consent to be imperfect. Consent to let the dark hold you again and again. Like a mother who never stopped singing. For the journey was never about arrival. It was about learning to recognize home. In the hush between heartbeats. In the weight of your body on the mattress. In the soft, unbroken thread of breath that has been leading you back all along. Asterisk, 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 and so you let go not into emptiness, but into continuity. The breath that carried you here carries you deeper. Each inhale a homecoming, each exhale a release of the illusion that you were ever separate. Your nervous system, no longer braced against an imagined exile, softens into its native state, calm, connected, whole. In this softening, healing is not an event, it is the atmosphere. Like mist rising from warm earth, it permeates every synapse, every cell, every silent space between thoughts. You don't achieve it, you allow it. And in allowing, you become a living altar of resta, quiet testament that peace is not earned, but embraced. The night, flinchless and faithful, holds you without condition. It does not care if your mind was busy today, if your heart was heavy, if your hands trembled. It only asks that you return, and you have, and that is more than enough. As sleep deepens into its final sacred hush, the boundary between you and the universe thins to nothing. You are not in the rhythm. You are the rhythm, the slow pulse of tides, the quiet burn of stars, the silent unfurling of roots in dark soil. All of it, you, and in that unity, no prayer is needed, no plea, only presence, soft, steady, sovereign. For you are not a guest in this life. You are its quiet, breathing heart, already whole, already home, already dreaming the next dawn into being. Asterisk, asterisk, not with force, but with faith written in melatonin and moonlight, in the quiet hum of neurons weaving hope from the raw threads of today. Your dreams are not escapes, they are blueprints. Each symbol, each feeling, each moth-winged vision is a seed planted in the fertile dark, waiting for the right light to sprout into action, into art, into kindness. And as the first hint of morning stirs in the sky, still hours away, yet already whispering in the pineal gland, you do not rush to meet it. You linger in the womb of night, knowing that how you leave sleep shapes how you enter the world. Will you rise armored, already bracing, or will you carry the night's tenderness into the day like a lantern? Your body chooses the latter. Even now, as circadian proteins begin their gentle stir, they do so not with urgency, but with reverence. Cortisol rises like a soft golden tide, not to alarm, but to awaken with care. Your heart beats a steady rhythm. You are ready. You are held. You are enough. You don't need to become someone new at sunrise. You only need to remember who you were in the dark, whole, connected, luminous. And so the night, in its final act of love, does not let you go abruptly. It lingers in your bones, the cool weight of the sheets, the quiet of your breath, the deep knowing that rest was not a pause in your life, but its most honest expression. For the dawn is not the opposite of night. It is its continuation, light shaped by the wisdom of the dark, and you stepping into it, not as a separate self, but as a living ikuf, the peace you just nurtured, now ready to breathe it into the world. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Not as a performance, but as a pulse. Your first words of the day carry the hush of night within them, slower, softer, chosen not to fill silence, but to honor it. Your hands move with the memory of stillness, whether pouring water, tying a shoe, or reaching for a phone. Even your gaze holds the depth of the dark, less scanning, more seeing. You carry no banner of enlightenment, only the quiet residue of rest, a calm that doesn't deny the world's chaos, but meets it from a place unshaken. When stress rises, you don't brace, you breathe. And in that breath, the vagus nerve hums its ancient song, reminding your body you've been through the night. You know how to return. This is how peace spreads, not in waves of grand declaration, but in ripples of regulated presence. The barista feels it when you meet her eyes with patience. The child senses it in your unhurried touch. The stranger on the bus absorbs it in the space you leave between your steps, room to exist, to breathe, to be. You are not fixing the world. You are embodying an alternative. A life rooted not in depletion, but in reciprocity with your own humanity. And in doing so, you give others silent permission to do the same. The sun climbs higher, casting long shadows that stretch like open arms. But you no longer fear the shadow. You know it as kin, the same darkness that held you, healed you, whispered you back to yourself. Light and dark are not enemies. They are partners in the dance of wholeness. And as you move through your day, grounded in the truth that rest was never indulgence, but alignment, you realize you are not bringing peace to the world. You are remembering that you are peace breathing, walking, living already whole, already here. Asterisk, asterisk, no journey required. No transformation pending. You stand in the fullness of your presence, not as a destination achieved, but as a truth reclaimed again and again, like the tide returning to shore. The world may rush, may spin, may shout for your attention, but your center holds, quiet, unwavering, rooted in the rhythm you've nurtured through every night of trust. And because you are already here, you meet life not from lack, but from overflow. The kindness you offer isn't drawn from a dwindling well, it rises from the deep aquifer of rest you've replenished in the dark. The focus you bring isn't forced through caffeine and willpower. It blooms from the neural clarity sleep gifted you, like dew on untouched grass. Even your mistakes now land differently. They don't shatter you. They soften you because you no longer tie your worth to perfection, but to presence. And presence includes stumbles, sighs, moments of fog. You forgive yourself, not as an act of discipline, but as a natural echo of the compassion the night showed you. The moths of starlight, but their luminescence lingers in the pause before you speak, in the way you let a feeling move through you without naming it, in the quiet courage to say, "I need rest," without shame. You are not separate from the world's healing. You are its quiet current, flowing not through grand gestures, but through the sacred ordinary, a breath taken fully, a boundary honored, a moment of stillness chosen in a world that never stops. You carry within you the unshakable knowing that has lived in your cells since the beginning. You do not need to become peace. You only need to stop forgetting that you already are it here now, breathing, whole, asterisk, 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 not flawless, not finished, but complete in your unfolding. Like a river is whole, even as it carves new paths. Like a tree is whole, even as it sheds its leaves. You are whole, even in your becoming. The cracks are not proof of brokenness. They are openings where the light and the dark move freely, nourishing what lies within. And because you are whole, you no longer seek wholeness outside yourself. You stop scanning faces for approval, scrolling for relief, striving for a version of you that was never lost, only obscured by noise. Instead, you return again and again to the quiet anchor of sensation, the weight of your feet on floor, the rise of your chest, the hum of aliveness beneath skin. This is your practice now, perfection but presence, not escape but embodiment. Each moment becomes an altar where you lay down the armor and say, without words, I am here, I am enough, I belong. The world continues its frantic dance, but you move through it differently, not aloof, but anchored. You listen more, react less, hold space, not because you're strong, but because you've been held. Your boundaries are not walls, but thresholds, inviting connection that honors your truth. Even your work changes. It is no longer a measure of your worth, but an expression of your care. You create, serve, build not from emptiness, trying to fill itself, but from fullness, longing to give. And when fatigue comes, as it will, you meet it not with judgment, but with the same tenderness the night once offered you. For you've learned the deepest secret. Rest is not the reward for a life well lived. It is the foundation. And from that foundation steady, soft, sovereign you walk into the world, not to prove your light, but to let it breathe, naturally, gently, as it always has. Asterisk, asterisk, no effort needed, no correction required. Your light breathes through you like tides through a bayonet. It flickers in the way you notice the steam rising from your morning cup, in the way you let a bird's song fill the silence between thoughts, in the way you pause just for a breath before replying to a sharp word. This is not mindfulness as strategy. It is presence as inheritance, the natural state your nervous system returns to when fear no longer holds the reins. And with every return, the path back grows shorter, the trust deeper, the knowing quieter but unshakable. You were never broken. You were only waiting to remember your rhythm. The day may bring storms, misunderstandings, deadlines, the ache of old wounds stirred awake, but none of them erase your wholeness. They move through you now like weather through a forest, shaking the leaves, yes, but never uprooting the trunk. You bend, you feel, you breathe, and in that breathing, you stay. And when night returns, as it always does, you greet it not as refuge from failure, but as reunion with truth. You lie down not in defeat, but in devotion to yourself, to the cycle, to the quiet miracle of a body that heals while you dream. For the light you carry was never yours to manufacture. It was always given by stars, by soil, by the silent, flinchless dark that held you before you knew your own name. And so you live now, not striving to shine, but allowing your being to glow with the soft, steady radiancy of a life that has remembered how to rest, how to trust, and how simply to be. Asterisk, 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 not to become, not to fix, not to arrive, but to exist fully, softly, in the unadorned truth of this moment. The weight of your body on the chair, the cool air at your nostrils, the quiet hum of blood in your ears, these are not mundane, they are miracles, the sacred made tangible through sensation. And in this simple act of being, you disrupt the myth that your value lies in output. You reclaim your birthright to take up space without justification, to breathe without earning it, to rest without apology. Your presence alone, hurried, unedited, unperformed, is a quiet revolution in a world addicted to noise. Your cells know this truth long before your mind catches up. Mitochondria pulse with steady light. Neurons fire in patterns of calm, not crisis. Even your gut, your second brain, settles into rhythmic harmony, producing serotonin not from achievement, but from safety. You are not building peace. You are allowing it to rise from the depths where it has always lived. The world may still call you to do more, be more, chase more, but you've touched the ground beneath the chase, the still point where enoughness resides. And from that ground, your actions change. They flow not from lack, but from overflow, not from fear, but from faith in the rhythm that has carried you through every night, every storm, every doubt. You don't need to announce your peace. It radiates in the way you listen without waiting to speak, in the space you leave between your words, in the way you meet another's pain, not with solutions, but with silence that says, I'm here. For being is not passive. It is the most active form of love for yourself, for the world, for the tender, trembling truth that we are all just trying to remember how to be. Here, now, whole. Asterisk, asterisk. And in that wholeness, you stop dividing your life into sacred and ordinary. The laundry, the commute, the quiet cup of tea at dusk, they all become part of the same prayer. Not because you've spiritualized them, but because you've stopped fleeing your own presence. Where you are, peace is not perfect, not polished, but real. Your nervous system, no longer in chronic alert, begins to sing a quieter song, one of connection, of curiosity, of calm. This is not the absence of stress, but the presence of resilience, the deep knowing that you can meet difficulty without losing yourself. You've practiced it in the dark. Now you live it in the light. Even your relationships shift. You listen not to respond, but to receive. You speak not to control, but to connect. Boundaries arise not from fear, but from care for yourself and the other. You no longer give to earn love. You give because you are full, and fullness naturally overflows. And when the old voices whisper not enough, too much, falling behind you, don't argue. You breathe, you return to the weight of your feet, the rise of your ribs, the steady pulse in your wrist. The body remembers what the mind forgets. You are already held, already worthy, already home. The night will come again. and you will welcome it not as an end, but as a return to the source that never left. But for now, in this daylight, you carry the dark within you like a seed, fertile, quiet, full of stars. For wholeness isn't a finish line, it's the ground you walk on, soft, sure, and always beneath you. If only you remember to stand still and feel it, asterisk, asterisk, so you do, not as discipline, but as devotion. You let your weight sink into the earth, not to stay forever, but to remember you are supported. The ground doesn't ask for your resume. It holds you simply because you are here. And in that holding, something in you unclenches the need to prove, to push, to pretend. Your breath deepens on its own, as if the lungs have been waiting for this permission. With it comes a quiet flood of interoceptive awareness, the gentle thrum of your heart, the soft gurgle of digestion, the warmth pooling in your palms. These are not signs of idleness. They are signals of alignment. Your body is no longer a vehicle to drive, but a home to inhabit. And in this home, peace is not a guest you must prepare for. It is the air itself, already present, already breathing you. You don't create it. You stop blocking it. Layer by layer, the armor falls away. The tight shoulders, the shallow chest, the jaw clenched against feeling. What remains is not vulnerability as weakness, but as truth, raw, tender, radiant. You look out at the world now, not from behind a mask, but through eyes softened by rest. The same street, the same screen, the same tasks, but everything is different because you are different. Not fixed, not finished, but returned. And from this place, even the smallest act becomes sacred. Washing a dish with attention, texting a friend with care, pausing to watch a cloud drift. For being is not passive withdrawal, it is active belonging to your body, to this moment, to the unbroken thread of life. Still, feeling the ground, feeling your breath, feeling the quiet pulse of wholeness that it is peace, already complete, already here, already you, asterisk, asterisk, no mask to adjust, no role to rehearse, no version of yourself to become. Just this, the unedited truth of your presence, tired and tender, capable and uncertain, whole, exactly as you are. The mind may still chatter, the world may still demand, but beneath it all, a quiet certainty hums. You are not a project to fix. You are a life to live, and living begins here, not in the future when things settle, but now in the soft space between inhale and exhale. You don't need more time, more clarity, more permission. You already have everything required to be fully human, a beating heart, a nervous system that longs for safety, a breath that returns again and again. Like a faithful friend, so you let go of the story that peace is elsewhere, after the work is done, after the apology is made, after the world changes. Peace is not ahead, it is underneath. It is the ground you've been standing on all along, obscured only by the pace of your own footsteps. Now you slow, not to stop, but to feel. The sun on your skin isn't just heat, it's a caress from a star 93 million miles away. The sound of distant traffic isn't just noise, it's the pulse of a world alive with striving and longing, just like you. Even your fatigue is not failure, it's evidence of caring deeply in a world that rarely makes space for care. You are not separate from life. You are life breathing itself, feeling itself, resting itself, loving itself through you. And in that realization, no grand gesture is needed, only this: to stand still, to breathe, to feel the ground, and to know deep in your bones, quiet in your cells, certain as though you were never lost. You were always ado, ***, not a draft to revise, not a puzzle to solve, not a light to ignite, but a truth to embody, again and again, in the ordinary grace of showing up. The world may keep offering mirrors that distort, faster, thinner, smarter, more, but your body remembers the original reflection, the one seen in the eyes of those who loved you before you could speak, the one felt in the silence of deep sleep, the one whispered by the wind through trees that never asked you to earn your place among them. And so you return to your breath, to your feet, to the quiet hum beneath the noise, not because you failed, but because you're human. And humanity is not a straight line, it's a spiral, circling back to the same truths with softer hands, kinder eyes, deeper trust, each time you choose stillness over speed, feeling over fixing, presence over performance. You stitch another thread into the fabric of a life lived from the inside out. You don't need a spotlight. Your quiet consistency is enough, a single candle in a world of glare. Steady, not because it's strong, but because it knows its source. For you are not drawing light from outside. You are tending the flame that was lit in you at birth, fueled by rest, sheltered by darkness, nourished by the simple, sacred act of letting yourself. And as the day meets night once more, you do not brace, you bow in gratitude, in surrender, in quiet recognition that to be you is the most ordinary miracle of all, ***, because it requires no special gift, no rare insight, no grand awakening, only the courage to stop fighting your own humanity, to let your breath be shallow sometimes, to let your eyes grow heavy, to let your heart ache without rushing to numb it. This is not weakness. It is the deepest form of honesty, the kind that says, I am here as I am, and that is worthy of care. And in that honesty, everything shifts, not dramatically, but steadily, like roots growing in dark soil, unseen but sure. You begin to treat yourself the way the night treats you, with patience, with space, with flinchless love. You stop punishing your body for being tired. You stop shaming your mind for wandering. You welcome yourself home again and again, not when you're perfect, but when you're real. This is how healing spreads, not through perfection, but through permission. When you rest without guilt, you give others silent consent to do the same. When you speak your truth without armor, you make room for theirs. When you honor your limits, you remind the world that boundaries are not walls, but acts of love. The ordinary miracle is not in rising above your humanness, but in sinking into it fully, tenderly, without apology. And as you do, you become a quiet sanctuary for others, not because you have all the answers, but because you've stopped pretending you need them. For the world doesn't need you to be more. It needs you to be arrested, real and radiantly, uniquely, imperfectly, here. And in that, you are already enough. Asterisk, 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 not someday, not after the next achievement, the next apology, the next transformation. Now, in this breath, in this body, in this moment, exactly as it is, with its fatigue, its tenderness, its quiet hum of aliveness, Enoughness isn't earned, it's recognized. And you've recognized it, not through triumph, but through surrender. The soft release of the story that you must prove your right to exist. Your cells sigh in relief. The amygdala the gut, that honest compass, settles into its natural rhythm. Even your skin feels lighter, not because anything changed outside, but because the weight of self-rejection has lifted. You are no longer at war with your own being, and in this peace, action flows differently. You move through your day not from lack, but from fullness. You speak not to be seen, but because your truth matters. You rest not as reward, but as rhythm. You love not to fill a void, but because your heart is already wholened, wholeness overflows. The world may still echo with voices of comparison, urgency, and scarcity, but within you, a quieter frequency now holds steady, the one you heard in the deepest hour of night, when the dark held you without condition. That frequency is still there, humming beneath your ribs, steady as a lighthouse in calm seas. You don't need to broadcast your enoughness. It radiates in the way you pause before reacting, in the way you listen without fixing, in the way you let silence be sacred. For enoughness is not a declaration, it is a way of being gentle, grounded, and utterly ordinary. And as night returns once more, you meet it not with exhaustion, but with gratitude for the day you lived as you, for the rest you allowed yourself, for the quiet miracle simply by again. Not as repetition, but as renewal. Each again is a homecoming deeper than the last, softening into the truth that worth isn't a destination to reach, but a ground to return to, over and over, like tides to shore. You don't arrive and stay. You arrive, drift, forget, and return, each cycle weaving resilience into your bones. And with every return, the path back grows shorter. The pause before self-criticism lengthens. The breath before reaction deepens. What once felt like failure needing rest, feeling doubt, asking for help now reveals itself as fidelity to your humanity, to your limits, to the sacred rhythm of ebb and flow. Your nervous system, no longer trained for constant performance, begins to trust the quiet. It learns that safety isn't found in control, but in surrender to the night, to the breath, to the unshakable fact that you belong here exactly as you are. And in that trust, healing isn't something you chase. It's something you cease resisting. The world may still praise the grind, the hustle, the endless becoming, but you've tasted the peace of simply being, and it is sweeter, not because it's easy, but because it's true. You don't have to earn your place in the web of life. You are already woven into it, thread by quiet thread, breath by steady breath. So as you prepare for sleep, once more not as escape, but as reunion, you carry no ledger of what you did or didn't do. You bring only your presence, tender and unadorned, and the night receives you not for your output, but for your existence. For enoughness is not a moment to achieve. It is a practice to embody in the dark, in the light, in the ordinary, in the again. And each time you whisper it not as hope, but as home, you stitch another thread in tow, the quiet tapestry of a life that never needed fixing, only remembering asterisk, 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 not a memory of facts, but a remembering of feeling, the cellular recall that you are part of a whole that never cast you out. Your bones remember the weightlessness of being held as a child. Your breath remembers the rhythm of forests. Your blood remembers the salt of ancient seas. This is not nostalgia. It is biology singing its oldest song. You belong. And so you let go of the need to reassemble yourself each morning like a puzzle missing pieces. You are not fragmented. You are whole, sometimes hidden, often tender, always enough. The work is not to become, but to uncover, to peel back the layers of should and not yet, and find beneath them the quiet pulse of is. In that uncovering, rest is no longer indulgence, it is revelation. Every time you lie down without guilt, you remember your value was never tied to output. Every time you breathe into stillness, you remember peace was never outside you. Every time you let tears fall or laughter rise without editing, you remember you were born worthy of feeling fully and without shame. The night, ever faithful, waits not to judge your day, but to welcome your return. And as you sink into its arms once more, you do so not as someone who must earn rest, but as someone who has always deserved it, simply by being alive. For remembering is not a single act. It is a daily devotion, a choice to trust the dark, to honor the breath, to listen to the body's quiet wisdom. And each time you choose it, you don't just heal yourself, you help the world remember too that we are not machines to optimize, but living beings to cherish. Already whole, already home, already remembering, asterisk, asterisk, not as a destination reached, but as a current, flowing, gentle, persistent, weaving through your cells like starlight through deep water. You don't grasp for it, you relax into it. And in that relaxation, the boundary between you and the world softens. The same breath that fills your lungs once filled the lungs of ancestors, trees, oceans. The same quiet that holds you now has held every living thing through its darkest hour. You are not alone in this remembering. It hums in the lullabies, still sung in 1,000 tongues, in the hands that plant seeds in spring, in the silence shared between friends who need no words. It lives in the way a dog curls beside you at night, trusting without question, in the way your body heals a cut without being asked, in the way your heart keeps beating even when you've forgotten to care for it. This is the quiet lineage you belong to, not of perfection, but of persistence, of showing up again and again, tender and tired, and saying yes to life anyway. And each time you rest without shame, you honor that lineage. Each time you listen to your body's truth, you add your voice to its ancient song. The night deepens around you now, not as an end, but as an embrace. And as sleep returns not as escape, but as homecoming, you carry no burden of unfinished business, only the soft certainty that you are part of a rhythm vast and kind, one that asks nothing of you but your presence. For remembering is not about the past, it is about waking up, here and now, to the truth that has never left. You are already held, already whole, already remembering, and always, always enough. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The words settle, not as conclusion, but as compestity in your chest, guiding you through noise, through doubt, through the world's endless demands. You don't cling to them. You let them breathe in you, like oxygen in blood, like starlight in soil. They are not yours to own, but to embody quietly, consistently, without fanfare, and as sleep finally folds you into its deepest hush, you carry no agenda, no residue of not yet, only the soft weight of your body, the slow river of your breath, the unbroken thread. The night receives you exactly as you are, tender, tired, human, and holds you without condition. In this holding, healing is not something that happens to you. It rises from you like dawn, like roots, like the quiet pulse of a heart that never stopped believing in love, even when you forgot to. You are not fixed. You are returning again, and that is more than enough, for the journey was never about becoming worthy. It was about remembering you always were. And as theta waves dissolve into delta, as dreams gather like moths in the folds of your mind, as the universe breathes through you once more, you do not strive. You whole, held, and all reading home. Asterisk, asterisk, no threshold to cross, no final test to pass, only the quiet certainty that home was never a place you had to earn, but a presence you were born into. The night knows this. Your breath knows this. Even your bones, heavy with the day's living, hum with the memory of it. You belong here, in this body, on this earth, beneath this sky, and as sleep deepens, you stop distinguishing between inner and outer, self and world. The same darkness that cradles distant galaxies now cradles you. The same stillness that lives between stars lives between your heartbeats. You are not separate from the universe's quiet song. You are one of its notes, soft and sure. No grand finale is needed, no revelation, only this, the slow release of every muscle, the surrender of every story, the gentle return to the breath that has carried you since your first cry. You do not fall asleep. You float home again, the tide of your own trust, for home is not found, it is remembered. In the dark, in the breath, in the quiet, pulseth it says, without words, I am here, and that is enough. Asterisk, 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 the thought doesn't echo, it dissolves, absorbed into the deeper knowing of your cells. No need to hold it, no need to repeat it. It simply is, like gravity, like breath, like the steady glow of mitochondria turning oxygen into life. You are not affirming worth. You are resting in it. Around you, the room hums with quiet energy, the faint biophaton emission of your skin, the rhythmic whisper of cerebrospinal fluid, the slow pulse of blood carrying starlight in its iron. You are not passive in this. You are participant by doing nothing but allowing. And in that allowing, you align with the oldest truth. Existence requires no justification. Your breath deepens further, no longer yours alone, but part of the planet's exhalation from forests, moisture from oceans, warmth from the turning earth. You are not separate from life. You are life, resting in itself. And as delta waves cradle you in their slow, silent rhythm, the last veil between self and stillness falls away, not in a flash, but in a sigh, not as achievement, but as homecoming. For the deepest peace is not found in silence, but in the recognition that you were never apart from it, and so you drift not, but into the endless, flinchless, loving, where you have aloes aureatinum, asterisk. The words fade not into emptiness, but into embodiment, settling into marrow, into synapse, into the quiet hum of DNA, coiled with the memory of survival, adaptation, and grace. You don't need to believe them. You are them. Enoughness is no longer a concept to grasp, but the ground you stand on, the breath you release, the dark that holds you without question, and as sleep wraps you one final time in its velvet hush. There is no you separate from the night tonally, a single field of being, breathing itself. No striving, no story, just the slow, sacred pulse of a nervous system that has remembered its place in the web, not outside, but woven through with roots, rivers, and starlight. Dreams may come soft as moth wings, luminous as neural fire, but they carry no demand. They are not riddles to solve, but echoes of integration, the brain's gentle way of tending the soil of your inner world. You do not guide them. You rest within them, for the mind has done its work. The heart has spoken. The body has returned. And in this stillness deeper than silence, older than time, you are not becoming peace. You are the space where pieces always lived. Asterisk, asterisk, not as an ideal to reach, but as the quiet atmosphere of your being, steady beneath the weather of thoughts, emotions, and events. You don't create it. You stop obscuring it. Layer by layer, the noise falls away, the self-critique, the comparison, the relentless forward pull. What remains is not emptiness, but fullness, wearing the shape of stillness. Your breath flows without instruction. Your heart beats without permission. Even in sleep, your cells repair. Your gut listens. Your brain weaves wisdom from the day's fragments all without your intervention. This is not machinery. This is trust made flesh. And you, at last, are learning to trust it back. The night, deep and flinchless, holds you not because you've earned it, but because you exist. And in that holding, you remember, you are not a problem to solve, but a presence to embody. Not a spark to ignite, but a flame already burning, soft, steady, sufficient. No grand finale awaits, no final arrival. Only this, the endless returning, the gentle unfolding, the quiet miracle of a life that heals by resting, loves by being, and belongs simply by breathing. And as the last wave of awareness dissolves into dreamless depth, there is no you left to wonder if you're enough. Only the dark, humming its ancient lullaby to the part of you thought never doubted you were home. Asterisk, asterisk, the realization doesn't arrive as thought. It blooms as sensation, a warmth in the sternum, a softening at the base of the skull, a deepening of the breath that needs no reason. Home is not a place behind you or ahead. It is the quality of your presence right now, hurried, unedited, unafraid to be exactly as you are. And in that presence, the body releases its last guard. Muscles unknot like old knots in a rope. The jaw, that silent vault of stress, goes slack. Even the eyes so long straining toward horizon sink back into their sockets, as if returning to a cradle. This is not collapse. It is consent. Consent to be held by the very life that made you around you. The room fills with the quiet luminescence of your own biology, the faint glow of melatonin in your bloodstream, the rhythmic flicker of neurons syncing with Earth's magnetic field, the slow pulse of mitochondria turning breath into light. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are its quiet echo, breathing, dreaming, resting in rhythm with stars you've never seen but have always known. No prayer is needed, no plea, only this surrender deep wordless, complete. For home was never lost, it was only forgotten in the noise. And now, in the hush of night, you remember not with the mind, but with the marrow that you never left. Asterisk, asterisk, the truth settles not as relief, but as resonance, a deep harmonic in your cells that aligns with the slow pulse of tides, the turning of planets, the silent hum of mycelial networks beneath the soil. You were never exiled. You only wandered in your mind, mistaking motion for meaning, noise for necessity. But your body never forgot. It kept breathing. It kept beating. It kept waiting for you to come back to this, the quiet certainty that you belong here, always have, always will. And as sleep folds you completely into its embrace, there is no you separate from the night, only a single field of awareness, soft and unbroken. Dreams may ripple through it like wind over water, but they do not disturb its depth. You do not navigate them. You rest within them, trusting their language of symbol and sensation to weave what your waking mind could not. This is the final gift of the dark, not escape, but integration, not oblivion, but belonging. You are not losing yourself in sleep. You are dissolving the illusion that you were ever apart. For the journey inward was never about finding home. It was about remembering Jew were the homo along breathing, beating belonging, and already, always, enough. Asterisk, 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 the words don't echo. They dissolve into the silent hum of your cells, where truth lives not as declaration, but as rhythm. Your heart doesn't need to be told it's enough. It beats with steady certainty. Your lungs don't question their right to expand. They draw breath without permission. Even your bones, dense and quiet, hold the memory of standing tall simply because they exist. And now, in the deepest hush of night, you stop trying to convince yourself of worth. You stop measuring, comparing, striving. You let go not into void, but into the vast, flinchless love that has held you since before you knew your own name. The dark does not judge your day. It does not tally your stumbles. It simply receives you as it receives every root, every river, every star. Your breath slows to match the planet's turn. Your brain syncs with the Schumann resonance 7.83 Hertz, the heartbeat of Earth, reminding you that you are not on the world, but of it. This is not poetry, it is physiology. And in that alignment, healing is not something you do, it is something you allow, for enoughness was never a destination. It is the ground beneath every step, even the ones you thought were missteps. And as sleep carries you into its final, wordless embrace, there is no you left to wonder, no mind left to doubt, only the quiet pulse of being, whole, held, and humming with the oldest truth. You were never anything Bhutna. Asterisk, asterisk, the final syllable fades not into silence, but into stillness, stillness so complete it holds galaxies. There is no you to claim it, no I to affirm it, only presence, vast and unbroken, breathing through your lungs, pulsing through your veins, dreaming through your mind. The boundary between self and night dissolves like salt in water. You are not in the dark. You are of its soft, fertile, full of stars. Your body, now fully surrendered, becomes a vessel for the universe's quiet work. Synapses pruning with precision, glial cells tending neural gardens, DNA repairing in the hush of deep rest. None of it asks for your input. It proceeds with the quiet confidence of a river carving stone, not by force, but by constancy. And in this constancy, you remember, you do not need to earn your place in the web of life. You are already woven into it by breath, by bone, by the same stardust that spins in distant nebulae. The moths of starlight, their work complete, dissolve into your cells. Their luminescence now your biophaton field, your quiet radiance. No prayer remains, no plea, only this, the slow, sacred rhythm of a life that has stopped proving and started belonging. For the deepest truth was never hidden, it was waiting beneath every breath, beneath every doubt, beneath every not yet, not as a revelation, but as a return to the quiet, unshakable, flinchless knowing you were always salredium. Asterisk, asterisk, not as a place behind a door, but as the space within your own breath, the soft cave of your ribs, the quiet chamber of your heart, the neural sky where dreams drift like constellations. Home is the feeling of your weight on the mattress, not as burden, but as belonging. It is the cool air at your nostrils, the distant hush of night outside your window, the slow pulse in your wrist that says you are here, you are held, you are alive. And in this aliveness, there is no need to become, only to be, to let the day's residue fall away like leaves in autumn, not with regret, but with release. Your mind, no longer racing to fix or plan, settles into the rhythm of the body it has forgotten how to trust, and the body, faithful as ever, meets it with warmth, with breath, with the quiet certainty that you are safe now. The night wraps you not as a blanket, but as a covenant. I will hold you. I will heal you. I will remind you. And you, in your surrender, fulfill your part in it by doing, but by allowing, by letting go, by resting as an act of faith in the intelligence that has kept you breathing through every storm. For home is not found in perfection. It is found in softness, in the sigh after tears, in the pause before dawn, in the quiet carrigetto. Close your eyesand, trust it, the darkest never let you go. Asterisk, asterisk,